Can you make me look pretty in this? Yeah. No, cheers, bro. Who's Andy Powell? Well, I should know, shouldn't I? Fun, down to earth, would do anything for anybody. People see me, they don't see me who I am really, but they don't know me. They speculate when they see papers, so they judge people. Never judge a book by its cover. That's a great saying. Tim Payne rang me up, he said, oh mate, he goes, you know, rugby's not going too good, I'm not getting picked. He said, do you fancy going for one beer? And I said, yeah. So we went for one beer. 16 Kronenbergs later, 16 tequilas and 16 Jaeger bombs. And then we were playing Newcastle the next day. And I was thinking, shit, what am I doing? But you know what it's like. We got on with it and yeah, I got my ass whooped in Shepherd's Bush. Like, I've never tried to be a tough guy, you know, it's not in me to do that. I'm more of a, I'm probably a softie really, but you know, I'd always look after myself if I had to. Try to catch me howling at the moon. It's only because somebody called me a sheepshag and I said, yeah, we f*** him, but you know, you eat him. And they didn't like that and that was the end of it.
Fantastic rugby player, brilliant ball carrier. Was a bit like Pierre Spies actually, which a lot of people don't appreciate. Was fast, had the offload game, could also carry into contact. He is a legend in Wales, that's a fact. He'll be remembered for the next 30 or 40 years for being a character on the field and off field. And I think if I had to sum him up in one sentence, it would be that he was a serious rugby player who didn't take rugby too seriously.
Whoa, nice rolls there. Always love coming back because, you know, you got your mates and, you know, nothing's changed really. Nothing changed from when I was a rugby player, professional rugby player and, you know, coaching now, and you still talk to him like you did 25, 30 years ago. So it's nice being away, and then, you know, it's always nice to get away then from your hometown, but it's always nice to come back and, you know, have a beer with your mates. And how are we?
Well, I got robbed the other day. It took all I had.
No.
My squad, all my blazer equipment and board saws, everything I had, they cleaned me right out.
Bastards, aren't they?
They are bastards, they took it to court now. But there we are.
Been going around a lot now recently, isn't it?
About 7 quads from up
Yeah.
here. This is last one, and a Land Rover.
The police don't come around here, do they?
See him, like, you know.
No. Hey, good to see you anyway.
Nice to see you, Andy.
Take care.
Father and mother, all right?
They're good. Well, I think they're enjoying retired life. He's got his little Massey Ferguson tractor in the garage, and he's you know, I think he's worked hard for what he had, didn't he? And you know, so no, he's good. He's off to buy a new Land Rover tomorrow, the old County. So I think he's treating himself to that. Hey, good to see you. Take care, pal. Yeah, I used to work here. This was my dream job. Coming down on the weekends, there'd be knickers everywhere. Because you know, big weddings and glass would be in the pool, whatever else. So you just have to, you sort of used to fantasize a bit, but you know, I was only 14, so you had to be a good boy.
Spanning 13 clubs and 2 sports, Andy Powell's is a career more storied than most. Yet, it's at his hometown of Brecon where Andy finds himself, 2 full years after he officially retired from the game.
Started off at Llanddyfri, then moved to Newport. That was his first professional contract. Then, this is the hazy bit, sort of, you know, a few trips down to France, to Béziers, then up to Leicester, then back down to the Scarlets, where he had a reasonably long period of time, you know, a good chunk of appearances, up to sort of, I think 60-ish. Then to Cardiff Blues, which is where he made his name, where, you know, he became a household name in Wales, almost overnight, even though he's been playing for a long, long time. He almost looked like an overnight success, even though he wasn't. And that's where he made his name, became the Test player, became the Lion, and then it was then off to Wasps, up to Sale, and then, you know, back into Wales, and then that was the tail end of his career.
Really sort of 15, 16, wasn't he? 17, and then he went to Llanddyfri training with Llanddyfri first, well, on a loan from Newport. And he came home one night and he nearly had an accident hitting a lorry going to Llanddyfri, remember?
Yeah.
And he said, oh, that was a near miss. And then he approached his dad and said, would you support me for 6 months? Because I think I can make it. I think I can do it. But will you pay my telephone bill, my mobile phone? So we did, and the next thing he was picked up by Newport Gwent Dragons on a permanent basis, and he signed at 18.
He never paid me back, like, you know.
Good parents, eh? My old man used to go for a pint. I used to go with him. So I must have been at the age of 11, 12. So I used to have 2 pints of shandy, then go on a Coca-Cola. He'd have about 8 or 9 pints. He'd drive down, and I'd end up driving a truck back at the age of 11. So, but imagine doing that now. Every parents, you know, they bring you up and they want to put you into this world and, you know, try and give you everything. And they've given me everything. And throughout my playing career, my mum's always been there. Before I could drive, she used to take me to the rugby matches. Same as my dad, probably more so my mum. But they're great parents, and I'm very proud of them. Before I tell you, mate, let's tell you some characters around here.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I'm one of them.
In an era of ever-increasing off-field professionalism, Andy fears that the sport he loves is losing something of its spirit of fun.
Some of these players now, they've got no lives and they've become robots. They get taught what to say to the media instead of just being yourself and just... I find more of the rugby league boys are more themselves, but it's from a working class background. So I don't know if maybe that won't go down too well, but it's pretty much for some of the union players as well. But I've had a bit of bad press and some good press, but I think more so for my parents. When they see it in the papers and somebody says to them, "Oh, have you seen the paper today, Gail Geth?" And they said no, so they go and buy the paper. And don't get me wrong, my mum and dad are not really one for buying the papers, but when they hear it from a different source, it probably does get them down in a some sort of way. But you sort of get over it anyway. It's like, it's the next day's fish wrapper, as my dad used to say it. So it's pretty much thrown away. So yeah.
Andy Powell is a complex character, and he is a legend in Wales. And of course, with all legends, some bits are a little bit unsavoury, some bits aren't untrue, some bits are unbelievable, and some bits are fantastical. And that is Andy Powell. That sums up his career on field and off field. Obviously, the buggy incident is legendary, and at the time, that was criticised at the time. It was after a big win against Scotland in 2010. And it's like when you're in camp, when you're there, people don't want to think that you're a person, the supporters, they don't care about your outside life. You are there to play rugby, you're almost like a robot. Well, Andy Powell doesn't fit into that stereotype. He wanted cigarettes, he couldn't drive, there was a golf buggy and a motorway, and you put those together, and that's what happened.
We've gone back to the Hilton, and all the players get treated really well. So all the Scottish players are down, drinking water, all the Welsh boys are drinking wine, getting shit-faced on the lager. We go into town after, and I think there was a picture of me and Walkabout with one trouser leg hanging off. I was absolutely pissed. We've gone back to the Vale Hotel, and we were having a few beers in the bar. At the time, I had to say I was going for some sandwiches, so I tried to get a key from behind reception. One of the guys goes, no. So the night before we played Scotland, I had a flathead screwdriver in the room because one of the bulbs went. So I used a flathead screwdriver. So I took this golf cart. It took us 45 minutes to get to the service station. I went down for a pack of fags. As I was driving into the service station, it started to splutter. And I think, oh shit, I've run out of fuel, I won't be able to get back. So I've taken this cap off, put the fuel in, and I'm starting to sober up now. And it said, this vehicle is battery propelled. So I'm thinking, oh my God, what am I doing? My mate's come back out. A cop car's pulled up beside, and he goes, what the f are you doing? And I said, I don't even know what the f I'm doing. So he goes, jump in the car, take you back, hush hush, it'll all be sorted. So as we getting back to the Vale, his sergeant must have got on the phone saying, there's some idiot going down the M4 in the golf cart, you need to sort him out. Don't worry, I got him in the car. So what they had to do, they had to arrest me. So
in a rugby player's actual career, that's looked at negatively, but now that's your pass on to the speaking tour. That is now, who should we have? Andy Powell, the boy with the buggy, get him in.
Well, I think it was Valentine's Day when it did happen, and I think mum and dad were in this pub having food, and somebody said, look, have you seen the TV? And my old man, I remember telling us a story. My old man looks at his head, he goes, hell, it had to be him, didn't it? And Mum was like, well, he won't change him, he's our son, that's the way he is. When you go to Ireland, they still have a beer in the pubs, and you don't get many stories about the Irish. And I know when I used to go there, the boys used to be out. I think because it's their media who look after them better. With our media, if you do something really good, you're the best player in the world, and if you go and do something stupid, they're going to slag you off in the media. So,
after 18 years of bruising professional rugby, it was ultimately struggles with mental health that brought his career to an end.
Yeah, in some ways, I think, I did like a beer and probably a few too many sometimes. But at the time, I was that fit, and when people don't realise how fit I was, and I will say this, I was probably the fittest in the Welsh squad in the World Cup, and somebody comes out and says, he's lying, that's bullshit, I was the fittest. Like the likes of George Noah, Shane Williams, people forget I used to push myself to the limit, and there's probably a few players who could back me up on that, but yeah, I probably did, and for me, I was one of those players who could just easily switch out of that and then go the other way and just get unfit. Then I'd have to push myself mentally, physically to get back and that's probably where I was very good at, being mentally strong, but then in some other ways letting yourself down by drinking maybe a little too much as well. This is Brecon RC ground. I think all the marquee and all the tents are up. It's like a Watford challenge, like a running event they do every year. So, Rob Howley, what he's achieved, in his whole game as a player was outstanding. I think as a coach as well, but me and him probably didn't see eye to eye. Probably when I first joined Cardiff, he probably listened to a few too many people that I was hard to coach, and we didn't get off to the right start really. And we had a few fallouts, and I've heard a few things with Lee Burns saying he was a bit of a bully, and he was a little bit of a bully actually. I think back then you could get away with it. I didn't see eye to eye with him, but it's one of those things, you can't get on with everybody, and that's the way I was. But I don't think it was just me as a player. There was a few other players as well. I'm not mentioning names, but I think if you read Lee Burns' book, I think he did address something in there that he was a bit of a bully. So that's life. That's the way it is. It was tough, and especially turned professional at 18 and retired when I was 36, and you don't think at the time that you're ever going to get to that day where you're retired. And I had the chance to do my coaching qualifications when I was younger, but I didn't do them. I didn't do really much. I just went home, trained a little bit more. You just think, well, you can do everything. I struggled, I'll be honest. I think, when you've done something for 18 years, all your life, and probably I should have got my qualifications a lot sooner, my coaching ones, but I didn't. You never think that you're ever going to retire. You think you're going to carry on doing it. And I was sat on the sofa one day and I thought, bloody hell, this is coming to an end. And it was a reality check, and it was a shock, and it was hard to get out of it. And then it did come, and I was in a dark place. It was a dark place. It was scary, but I talk. There's some people who can't talk to the media, and they hide away. They put themselves in a shed and they don't talk to anybody. And I'm easy. I can just talk to anybody. I let them know my problems. And then some people think that's a weakness, but I think the weakness is when you don't talk. But we're all different as human beings, and I'm glad people are starting to think about it now and doing a bit more about it. Which, it's a very important thing in their life, I think, going forward.
Andy is preparing for a charity boxing match, which will see him take on Danny Dig Davis, in order to raise money and awareness around mental health. He has enlisted the help of professional boxing coach Darren Wilson to whip him into shape and to hone his fighting skills.
Your breathing will become more natural, your footwork, your distance, your ring craft, everything. Yeah. Bit by bit. 15 weeks is a long time.
Since being coaching, I probably haven't done much exercise. I'm not in bad shape, don't get me wrong. I don't think I could ever get fat, but I was unfit. But I got a fight now, 21st of September, against this guy from Raider. It's all for charity. I think we're looking to raise about 15 to 20,000.
I think he'd pick anything that he's a natural sportsman. I think he'd pick boxing up quite easy. He did when he was training with me a lot, but now it's pretty much starting again. Now it's a good 15-week training camp and he should be ready to fly in 15 weeks.
He fancies himself a bit, so I have to take it quite serious, otherwise I don't want to be knocked on the canvas first round. I tell you, it probably was. I was playing for Wigan, and I probably went a bit too late in my career, and things weren't going well off the field, i.e. marriage and stuff like that. I think, I was 33 then, I'm thinking, I've got 2 years left. And then he started worrying about them 2 years instead of just, knuckle down, concentrate on next year, try and get it back on track. And then I broke my neck, that didn't help, and I think everything started just building up and pressure started coming on myself, drinking too much. And then, just all went downhill after that, really. I think you're holding on to it all the time, and then your body doesn't know how to get rid of it, and then you're stuck in that little shell, and when you're in that downward spiral, it's hard to get back up. And I've been down that spiral many few times, but I don't know my character, I don't know what it is, or I'm mentally tough, or I always come out smelling the roses, but don't get me wrong, I'm a good person, do some stupid things in my life, but aren't we all done stupid things, so.
With his rugby career over, a new sport has found its way into Andy's heart. The archaic Welsh pub game, quoits.
Quoits is a board game. It's a square board with a peg in the middle, and you've got an inner circle, and you've got an outer circle. And you've got 4 rubber quoits with a hole in the middle, quite thin. The aim of the game is to throw them from about 6 to 8 feet away, try and get the quoit on the peg or in the circle for a 2, or on the outside for a 1. Well, the forfeit's quite funny actually. If you do lose it, it's quite a serious game, but if you do lose, you have to get a pint of Guinness and you have to drink in one. But there's plenty of people in Brecon that can't drink for and they struggle. There's like kecking back in your glass.
Yeah. I know how many.
He's like childbirth, son. It's like childbirth. One swing, go on. One swing. Come on, you have to do it. One swing. One swing. How we go? Go on, for Ireland. Go on, for Ireland. Yes. Oh, I really glad you are.
I'm a Brecon boy, so that means everything, doesn't it? It's a great club. And, I played there when I was in youth rugby. But to come back and coach the seniors is, right up there as, a high accolade, what I've achieved over the years as my playing career. But to come back and to have such a season, which we've had, has been absolutely outstanding. I've said this at the start, I never thought I'd be a coach because I thought all the politics and stuff, and I'm quite an open-spoken guy. But I tell you, I think, I've shocked a few people, I've been quite calm. Oh, don't get me wrong, there's a few times where I start to go a bit mad and have the wrong decision or something. But no, I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's a good crack. Well, I think, as a player, I think if you don't turn up to training because you think, I can't be asked to turn up to training today, I think you're only letting yourself down, really, because you're sort of letting the players down in a way, but there's other players who can step in and take your opportunity, and if they do that, well, you've messed up. But I think as a coach, if you don't turn up as a coach, you're sort of letting all the players down. They look at you as that role model as a coach. And so I think I've taken it a bit more, professionally as a coach. Don't get me wrong, I was a professional as a player. I've had 18 years at the top, so I must have done something right in my career. But I think as a coach, I think there's a little bit more responsibility on you that you want to try and coach the best players as well. And I'm lucky enough, I've coached some great players this year, and 5 or 6 had the opportunity to move to different clubs, but they stayed. And that means a lot to me.
Despite being new to coaching, Andy's pulling power was enough to convince a gang of celebrities to get behind Brecon Rugby Football Club before their plate final.
AP McCoy here. Just want to wish all you Brecon boys the best of luck playing in the plate final at the end of the month. Hope it goes well.
What's up, guys? Flex Lewis here, your same time 212-pound Mr. Olympia champion, all the way from Florida at the Everglades behind me, wishing all you guys at Brecon RFC the very best at the stadium this weekend against Bonamine.
Hi there, it's Nigel Owens here, and I just want to wish you boys, Brecon RFC, all the best for the final. It'll be a wonderful occasion, and and I hope that it all goes well and you are able to lift that cup.
Alright boys, Neil Razor Ruddock here. Want to wish you all the best. Brecon Rugby Club playing at Millennium Stadium. Just listen, get in their faces, win your personal battles and man up and win the game. Leave everything you've got on that pitch. No excuses, you don't get a second chance.
This is a special day for all of us. I thought, you know, we'd have a legend of the game to hand the jerseys out to you. Scott Quinnell, guys.
In this room later, take it up. When you go back in this room later, 2.5 hours, 3 hours time, whatever it is, and you can look each other in the eye, and you can say to each other, I give everything for this fucking team. And you can say to each other, win, lose or draw, I did everything in my power to win that game. The one thing in the last 15 years I haven't been able to do is put a pair of boots on in anger. And I miss it every fucking day. I miss days like this every day. You've got that opportunity today to put that boot on, get out there and express yourself. Guys, good luck, enjoy it, and more than anything, do not have regrets in 3 hours time. That's all we can ask you. Good luck, man.
Brecon's victory kicked off a week of celebrations in the town and cemented Andy's new role as a coach to be reckoned with.
Down in there, you know, they come down to support us all year, and they come down to the stadium today and show what they've done. It's massive. They were the 16th man at the end, so yeah, fair dues to them. They've been great to us all year, and we'll thoroughly enjoy the night. Well, we're going to get faced, and we're going to get on that tractor and trailer tomorrow. Lions, first cap for Wales, beating the All Blacks, you know, sevens. I've done all grades, 18s, 19s, 21s, A's. You can go through it all. But, you know, I think when I come back here and, you know, what we did last year, winning the plate and winning the league, I think that, I think I said it on TV, I think it was right up there with some of the best things I've done. And, you know, it will, you know, especially when it's your own town and it's, you know, you've got all your friends and family around you, it's something special. And, you know, I think my mum had a tear in her eye when we won the plate. So no, it's a great feeling, but we're not going to rest there. We'll move on now and we'll try and achieve it again and probably try and get into the championship. I think because it's a great club and we've got some great youngsters coming through.
The guy's infectious. The guy is absolutely infectious. He is, honestly. Once he starts, people they listen. It does have an effect. I mean, there have been times this season where we've been absolute garbage first half, right? And he's on the touchline, he's shouting his orders and what have you. Half time, the team talk at half time, well, you wouldn't be able to put it on any screen, I tell you what now. But the second half, you watch the levels go up, and we will end up winning that game.
You know, I'm glad I started here. You know, it's this is where it is, what it's all about for me. We've had a great season. I think this was massive winning this plate. It was what a day it was.
It was unbelievable.
You know, and you know, to win the league as well. But I think the celebrations after were brilliant, weren't they?
Yeah. The old man's still proud as punch now.
Yeah.
He'd captained the club for a couple of years before. Well, 81, 82, I think. And my uncle captained before that as well. So it's a real family affair, and everyone's still talking about it now, to be honest. But I'm quite glad the celebrations slowed down a bit, because I couldn't have carried on like that much longer.
It was long. But the best thing about it, like, you know, just speaking earlier on, like all the kids now in the schools are ringing them up, and they want us to go around, you know, the schools with the plate and the bowl, and you know, just some boys were working. It's hard for them to do it. So, but we've been around a few already, and it's the kids, the smiles on their face. And
yeah, they love it.
It's great, isn't it? You know, I've learned off every coach, and I was how can I say, I was a bit hard work as a player. You know, I just needed that person to put an arm around me, and I think Warren Gatland was the only guy who probably did it, where people thought I was too wild, uncoachable, about 6 coaches said. But it goes to show the quality in them as coaches. Well, it goes to show in my mind, they were not very good, and look at them now. They're not even coaching anymore, so I think I'm just going to take every step and enjoy every step. But I think sometimes you look too far in the future and you don't really enjoy the path that you're on. And I think I want to stay on this path now, take every step by step and just enjoy every single bit of the way.
He's been an international rugby player, he's done it all, but it does take so much guts to get into that ring in front of everyone because it's the unknown, isn't it? No one knows what's going to happen. Like, I don't know what's going to happen all day.
No, I don't.
So,
you can go on a field, you've got a rough idea, you can get tackled, you can get smashed, and hopefully you get up, which I did most of the time. But in that ring, all it takes is a one right or a left or an uppercut on the chin, and you could be good night, Irene. I haven't trained for the last 6 weeks.